he's back. He remembers the little people. He remembers where it all started. He's finally back. I mean, the guy's been everywhere. Guys, it's Reuben Kamp, Darkhorse Tech. Reuben, what's up, man?
What's up, Glenn? It all started with a set-up selfie camera in a restaurant in Dallas. And look at us now.
Look at us now, man. I mean, now we're actually sitting like professionals inside our offices and whatnot. But I will have to point out, I mean, very strategic. The man has his UNC diploma right behind him.
And this is my remnants of when let me go the other way. When I thought I wanted to be a dentist. So that's a bio degree, which I have not used them very much.
Bio degree.
Yeah. Thank you, organic chemistry, which will never help me.
Hey, well, it's okay, man, because you're helping us out because now you're helping us on the tech side. And there's so many things we need to talk about, but pretty much everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows with Darkhorse. I've worked with Darkhorse for years. So many people in the Nifty group. The thing is this. People think like IT, it's not the sexiest thing, man. All right, let's just admit it, right? It's not like a laser, it's not like a scanner, it's not like a CBCT. But when your CBCT is not working, when things are not connecting, when you can't hook up your scanner to your computer, you really want someone like Darkhorse to help you out. Because I, for one, have been someone who literally messaged Reuben like, "Hey man, what's going on, man? Like, hey, I need some help, man. I got this big case, blah 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 blah." And Reuben's always really nice. I was like, "I can help you, man, but can I give you an easy button?" I was like, "No, man, this is the easy button." And Reuben's like, "This is a true story." He's like, "No, Clint, there's really an easy button. It's so easy that you don't even have to do it." I was like, "No, man, what's easier than messaging you and just telling you that my scanner's not working and I need help right away?" He goes, "All you gotta do is see that little icon with a little horsey there?" I was like, "Yeah." All you gotta, we've already told your team if there's a problem, click that little icon and type in a ticket. And if it's urgent, you escalate it to urgent and we will help you. And I was like, what? And so literally, guys, it truly is an easy button. And that's my experience. And I see people all the time saying like, "Oh man, this is down, issues are going on." And I look at them and I'm like, man, that sucks. Yeah. Because it's been a long time since I've ever had to deal with that. And honestly, what's so cool about it is a lot of times there have been issues like, like something going on with Open Dental, right? Has nothing to do with Reuben and the IT team, right? But they know how to solve it. And it doesn't even get to me. Yeah. It's like, Reuben probably already knows her name, but the one person who's very picky about technology in my office is Ursula. And she literally is like, she'll type a ticket and it's so funny because it's a ticket. You type in what you want and she literally gives you like a whole synopsis of what happened. In fact, what I ate that morning and everything. Like Reuben's like, "Okay, thank you for all that information." And they take care of it. And I don't even realize it happened. So that's a shout out to you, Reuben. But again, for those who don't know who you are and what you do, I kind of gave them a little idea. But talk about how many times that, again, you have so much cool relationships with everyone in the Nifty group and they message you and stuff like that. And tell me the truth here. Have you had that same conversation where you told other people like, "Hey, there is an easy button, right? You can."
I call it the magic button. Absolutely.
The magic button. There you go.
It's like, I specifically designed this because I was in a dental office and I saw it happen in real time. There was a hygienist and she couldn't get her intraoral camera to work. And I literally saw her stick her head out of the operatory and go, "Hey, can you call the IT company?" Because she didn't have phone, she didn't have email, and she needed someone to report the issue for her. So that button, you just right click, boom, it tags the computer you sent it from, and we can remote right in and fix it. So that was just like,
there you go.
Yeah, the magic button is glorious. Thank you for that introduction. I am here to give back to the community, and we're a dental IT provider in the space. Glenn and I have worked together for a long time. Well, hundreds of Nifty, Thrifty people work with us, and I've been doing this for 10 years. But what I want to talk about today is the cool new stuff. right? Because IT, as you mentioned, it's not sexy, but we're going to bring sexy back. You know, IT is roads and bridges. We're talking about the future today. All right. And I reached out to the group, and the feedback said, you guys want to hear about ChatGPT?
Yeah.
You guys want to hear about Open Dental Cloud, and you want to know how to hire somebody remotely. So if you're having hiring issues locally, you can set someone up in maybe a market. You don't have to pay them as much. There's a better hiring pool over there. Whatever it is, flexibility is king. So
let's start with the virtual assistant, the remote workers. And the reason why I want to start there is because I like to feel that I helped Reuben kind of develop the more secure way of doing this, because I was one of the first one that came to him and said, hey man, I'm hiring all these people over here and they need like access and blah, blah, blah. And you were like, okay, hold up. Like, what do they need exactly? I was like, well, they're going to go into Open Dental. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. It's like, okay. And they're just going to remote into my computer. Yeah. And that was like the beginning of Reuben's education with me. He's like, dude, you know, you do not want them going on your computer, man. You literally need to have another computer just for them. You need it. And so what's so cool is that, you know, a lot of people nowadays, I mean, this was like years ago when I talked to you about this. Now everyone's hiring remote workers or third-party companies.
Sure.
But I think some of the core principles that you laid out to me, Reuben, they definitely apply. And that is, you kind of want to give them permission, but you don't want to give them like an extra key. You know what I'm saying? You kind of want to give them like the code to get in, and you want to be able to revoke that code and set up securely. So let's talk about just security and doing all those things and other things. Let's start there, because I think that's a hot topic right now, because people are like, I can't find staff. Well, yeah, you can. There's a whole bunch of people everywhere else that can work.
There's a whole lot of people that want to work part-time, right? So maybe it's not even a full-time position. You just need someone to do 10 hours a week. It could even be bookkeeping, right? Not even talking about dental, but like you could do that.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. Because again, the idea, a lot of people do it. The thing is, you got to be very careful, because, well, you let someone into your house, right, which is your network. They might leave things behind that you don't like.
Right. So definitely rule number one, and this remote work topic applies to both people on cloud-based softwares and server-based softwares. You can make it work. The principle is the person doesn't have to be in your office to be a productive member of your team. Coming from someone who works remotely, has 70 team members, and they all work remotely besides a couple in our HQ. So this is all we've known for all this time. You do not want to give people access to your server, right? If you signed up for a third-party integration, they need access one time to get their system set up. That's not what I'm talking about. You do not want someone doing their full-time job inside of your practice management software on your server. Guess what? If they misclick, close something out, everyone in the office gets closed down, right? Then IT gets a call, and then I say, hey, Glenn, don't do that again. This is what happened. All right. So, and then you mentioned something about like restricting access. There's an actual term for this in HIPAA compliance called minimum necessary use, right? So if that person does not need to see social security numbers, do they need to see medical history information? We restrict that, right? And so the same thing applies to access to computer systems. Is like, well, if they don't really need to do that, then why just open up everything so they can break something? Yeah. So this remote workforce topic is, and the HR platforms that are out there, Glenn, I don't know if you use Gusto. I know you partner with MB2 and stuff like that, but like hiring workers in different states has never been easier. And like, think about when you're filling a position, what it costs to live in downtown LA, or what does it cost to live in Joplin, Missouri? Well, it turns out you can hire the same quality employee, and they don't have to live in LA, right? They don't have to live in a major market where it costs a lot of money to live there. So if you want to be competitive with your services, and we all know overhead in dental is insane, right? So if you want to work on that number and get that payroll figure down, this is a really good way to do that. Now, I've had clients go all the way to the extreme, and I probably won't recommend this. I've seen a computer having a always on Zoom call, and that is their receptionist, right?
Yeah.
Not only does that person, so it's like it's almost like the Jetsons, like the patient comes to the dental office and there's a floating head on an iMac, right, or an all-in-one, and they're checking you in. And I don't know if that's the best patient experience. It's kind of weird, but I guess they could get used to it at some point.
I mean, hey, you do what you got to do. But yeah, I've seen other weird things too. And it reminds me of this one time where I went into this bank and I was up in Minnesota. I just had to withdraw some money. And it was basically an unmanned bank. Basically, you walk in, and if you want to go talk to a banker, you walk into this room, and you push the button. They show up on a computer screen. They like, what can I do for you, sir? I just kind of looked in and see what's going on. I was just withdrawing some money, but I saw that and I was like, that is so weird. I thought that was so weird. But again, it's as far as like, having someone answer overflow calls, calling people, doing some clerical work. The remote employees have been telling people for years, probably the niftiest, thriftiest thing that you can do. But again, as I went down this journey years ago with Reuben, I was like, hey, they're just going to remote in my computer while I'm like seeing patients. He's like, dude, no, no, like get something separate. And again, for those who are watching, who are number one, Darkhorse clients, or maybe if you're not even a Darkhorse client, right? Like best practices to make sure that they set things up securely. Yeah. Can they use you as a resource? Can they reach out to you and your team and ask some questions?
I think anyone who's ever messaged me on Facebook knows that I don't put up a wall that's like, are you a client or not? I help out, and I just hope the good vibes go somewhere and it pays me back at some point. So,
well, there you go, guys. I mean, again, if you, there's we have some sponsors in here that do third-party services. They've worked with Darkhorse. They've definitely worked it with me when they had to get some access, and Reuben's team set that up. But again, whether you use them or you find someone on your own, yes, it's one thing to find someone who knows what they're doing. The next thing is make sure it's secure. If your IT provider is not giving you that information, hey, I'm not hating on anybody, but if they're not, just please, the man says you can reach out to him. Message Reuben. We're going to tag them in here. Yeah. I'll even put I won't put his cell phone, but I'll put his name. I mean, I have his cell phone.
I think my cell phone's everywhere too. So like,
feel free. Put it in the bathroom for a good time, put his number or whatever is, anyways. But yes, reach out to Reuben because again, you just said it, right, Reuben? Like if they have some questions about how to set it up, you're game to answer those questions.
Let's for a second assume you don't use me and you like your IT company, right? Remote access exists. So anything you can do in front of a computer, you can do remotely. Mango Voice exists. Guess what? Mango Voice works on the principle of internet, which means it doesn't matter where the phone is, it can ring, right? Mm-hmm. If you have an office in Dallas and Denton, Texas, like Dr. Bo, and you have a remote worker in Houston, Mango Voice doesn't care where the phone is. It's going to ring, right? So even let's say you're a dental office and you're struggling with answer rate, right? You only have a 7. What's a terrible answer rate? 30? 30 is probably really bad, right? And you also have this backlog of administrative work. Well, if you can hire someone in rural Texas at a very comfortable rate and your front desk is swamped, well, the calls can, port and swing over to your kind of part-time worker, and they can do everything in your practice management software, schedule, change the appointment, and then you're giving your patients that good experience again.
What's something that you didn't bring up that is important. Again, we were talking about like you can hire different talent in different parts of the country that don't necessarily command the same type of salary if you're in like the big city. Something to keep in mind too is that from a recruiting standpoint, allowing some of these team members the opportunity to work from home is a huge perk, right? In fact, you can negotiate a more favorable salary because you're just basically telling them, look, you don't have to drive, right? You don't have to spend that time coming in. There's a lot of flexibility there, right? If you have kids at home, you make sure everything's okay. You can take care of them during your lunch break and whatnot. Never leave your home. And that is super important to certain team members, especially if they have a family. So something in mind. And again, for those who are wondering, I know because Ursula at one time used to work in my office, the one that always harasses Reuben whenever there's an IT issue. And she doesn't harass a lot, but she's always the same person that does it, because we're like, hey, they know you, Ursula, just go ahead and reach out. But now Ursula would have retired years ago, but we like her so much, and we're like, don't retire, please don't retire. And she was like, well, can I at least work from home? I was like, yes. And so she would have retired, but she's working from home. So again, what the man says is true. And again, there's ground rules, man. You do this, you play this game, you got to make sure you're secure. It goes back to your IT company. So if you're using Darkhorse, just reach out to Reuben and say, hey, can you set up the same secure thing that you did for Glenn Vo?
Reach out. Even if the question is, hey, how do you manage remote employees? Again, I got 10 years experience managing people.
Like, how many? You said 70 people all over the place?
70 full-time employees at our company. So if you need some assistance on how to keep, hold people accountable, have KPIs, anyway, any subject is open for me. So
I love it. Okay, so speaking of other subjects, let's talk about ChatGPT, because that's the thing. Everyone loves it. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's kind of freaked out about it. I personally love it. I'll let Reuben kind of share like his thoughts on that, and I'll share with everyone what I use it for, because people may say, well, Glenn, I mean, obviously you have a lot of ways to use it, but I'm like, anybody who owns a practice can use it in a certain way that makes your life easier. And honestly, guys, it's kind of like one of those things where maybe you didn't like a smartphone when it came out. Maybe some old people like Marty in our group, he didn't like a smartphone when it came out, and now he can't live without it, right? So the faster you figure things out, the better you are, or else you're going to be asking your niece and nephew how to work it, right? You don't want that to happen. So, Reuben, talk about the ChatGPT, man.
So right now, if you figure out how to use ChatGPT, you're going to have a lead, right? There's this moment in time we're in right now where if you use it effectively, you're going to have a leg up on your competitors, right? Who have not figured out how to use it yet. So everyone on this who's listening to this is probably a business owner or business owner adjacent. And so we are in the business of marketing and promoting our brand. And any of us that are as busy business owners know, like, the last thing you want to do, and Glenn, you're just a pro at this, is write content. Is like, oh, I got to do my weekly post and I got to come up with something interesting. And this is really the number one thing I believe ChatGPT can do to help you grow your practice, or let's say even keep your lead. Let's say you're already 1, 2, 3 on, top dentists in Dallas, right? Let's say you're already there, but there's people trying to come up behind you. And what Google cares about most is content. And guess what ChatGPT is really good at? Hey, can you do this for me? Walk away, come back, and it's done. So what I really want to educate people on is doing weekly blog posts. And you can make it generic if you want to, but the prompt, what you give it to, what it ingests that you give it, really has a dramatic output. Like the quality of the output is going to be affected by it. So you can have it write a blog post about a procedure. Maybe you're doing your website and that's going to be helpful. You have a restorative page, right? Why we do implants page. But what if you have it do a blog post on why a patient suffering from X, Y, or Z should come to your practice? Okay. All right. Or let's say you wrote an article saying top 10 dentists in Denton, Texas, and you put yourself of course, you're going to put yourself number 1. But guess what people are searching for?
Oh, yeah.
They're searching top 10 lists, comparison chart. I created an open dental comparison chart, and people lost their mind. That was a rough week of, hey, can you add me to the checkbox, all that stuff.
It's okay, man, but because as long as you're top of mind, man.
Yeah, exactly. So what you want to do is generate content for what people are searching, and you kind of have to put yourself in the mind of the patient here. What do they care about? Do they care about not having pain? Do they do sedation? Okay, all these questions you may know, but it's really daunting task to like, all right, you're staring at a blank Word document. Like, where do I even start? Well, that's the beauty of this is it will give you 80% the way there. And now you're just like tweaking and doing all this stuff and polishing up, personalizing it. And you can generate content now so much faster. This is why if you embrace this, you will have a lead. And it's also approachable because it just takes like 1/10 of the time now to do. And so content is really there. And what version 4, which just came out, can do now is it can even do Instagram. It can do Facebook posts. It will add emojis in. It will space it out perfectly. It is insane what it can do.
Yeah. And it's just the beginning, right? No, I love all those things. And again, yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't working with that right now, you should. And here's the thing. I mean, is there going to be room for you to add your own spin on it? Of course. Reuben just said that. But the days of sitting there and going, how should I start this? Those days are over. Let it start it off, right? And I'll even give you another hack here. What you can do is you can have them write an article to say about implants, right? And then you can come back and say, can you write it in a Tony Robbins voice, right? Or can you write it in an Oprah Winfrey voice? Or can you write it in like, anybody, right? and again, what happens is that I love doing the Tony Robbins voice because I kind of naturally write like that. So I'm like, okay, write about this, and then that comes in and they basically hype it up. But you can get that original piece of content and really like customize it. Tony Robbins voice. Hey, make it X amount of words, right? Put this keyword there. You can do so many things that it ends up being like a custom piece of content. Because people are always worried, like, well, if Glenn is talking about, write me an article about the benefits of an implant. What if somebody else over here writes it? Well, are they writing in a Tony Robbins voice? Are they writing this, and this? Are you adding all these things in? And then are you coming back and adding specifics about your practice? There's no reason. There's no reason. To be honest, Reuben, I mean, I'm not sure if you agree with me here, but if you don't adopt this, everyone else will, and you're going to be left behind, my friend.
I completely agree. I feel the same way that I stated. I feel like because I've embraced it so early that I have a leg up over my competitors. But at some point, this is just going to be what people do.
Yeah.
And that's going to go away. And so if you're not doing it and you're trying to catch up, you're behind. Anecdotally, I can share. I won't call the client out because it probably will have a negative effect to him. But he wrote an article that was top 10 dentists in X city. Guess how much he paid for that blog post? Nothing. Guess what is the #1 site that shows up when people search that? His blog, not a Google ad that he's paying $5,000 a month for. No. And you know what? He was so slick that he also put his top competitors in that article because you know what happens is that site is now ranking above their website. Okay. It is insane what this is capable of. I mean, you could always write that article, but the reason I bring this up is because it lowers the bar so much to keep generating content again and again that's customizable. So we might have beat this horse pretty well, but I hope.
I mean, we beat it. We beat it like it's dark. It's dark.
I think
black and blue. It's dark now.
People like getting new patients. People like the money that comes from that. So just use it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So again, we talked about different. You said earlier, like, look, whether you're using a cloud-based software or a server-based software. You still need to have the same parameters, the same rules apply when you're working with remote clients and remote team members and whatnot. And so speaking of like different types of software, obviously one of the ones that a lot of people like is Open Dental, server-based, but now it's starting to move into the cloud space. Talk about that, Reuben. And honestly, I want you to talk about that, but I want to know your thoughts on that, because how do you feel about cloud? Because then it's kind of like the one thing I love about you from when you started, and the both of us, we started and did things a certain way, and over time you evolve, right? You level up, right? If you don't level up, And the cool thing about you, Reuben, is that you've always stay on top of all the new advances, all the cloud-based software, what they do, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and you kind of leveled up too. So talk about Open Dental Cloud, but talk about the evolution of the IT industry, because Jake, who has an IT company out of his mom's basement, maybe he's used to like going there and like, hey, let me update all the computers, let me look at this, and just go home and play video games. But it's another level when you get to the cloud.
So, and it's another level when you get to healthcare in general, right? I think doing IT for a coffee shop, for an accounting firm, you're supporting Outlook, right? You're supporting QuickBooks. It's that's one level. Once you get into a market that has compliance obligations to the federal government, aka HIPAA, if you're just
fined,
right, yeah, if you're just working for like one or two dental offices, you're really doing those dental offices a disservice, because it really takes time and dedication to understand. HIPAA is a giant law. Right. So if you're giving people recommendations and those recommendations end up causing them to have a security issue, your company is gone. Right. It just takes one thing and it's gone, which is like scary. But, for someone who's been doing it for 10 years, you follow a very strict set of rules and those days won't come. So the cloud, it's 2023. I think everyone's in the same mindset of like, shouldn't everything be cloud by now? Like, why are we still, I'm opening a startup and why am I buying a server? Okay. And I think general dentistry has evolved very slow. So we're in a market that has lagged behind, definitely medical, even ortho. Ortho's got some really great software out there. Ortho 2 Edge, free shout out to them, does a great job. Open Dental does an awesome job, and the price is right. And it's really made for multi-site offices. So you put all that together, and you can leverage what is already out there, which is there are cloud providers. There is Google, there is Amazon, there is Microsoft, and all of these providers can help you host in the cloud. Now, of course, you can hire an IT company to do it. That's something we excel at. But someone who is technically inclined can figure this problem out. Can you put a software that you like on the cloud and run your practice off it, and it be similar price to a local server? Finally, yes, that's correct. You can run Open Dental on a server, Open Dental on the cloud. One office is about the same price, right? Plus, you don't have to replace a server and have downtime every 5 to 7 years. That seems like an easy choice. But once you have more than one office, the price gets incredibly attractive, right? You have one server that runs 6 offices and you're only paying for one server. So that's where the cloud really, from a cost saving standpoint, really comes to fruition. And let's say, you own multiple practices and you're remoting into 10 different servers. This is also a solution where you can just have a single pane of glass, pick which office you want to remote into, right? Pick which office you want to access and just pop in and out of that. So we've kind of finally reached, it is the end of March of 2023. I'm ready to declare the dental market is ready for cloud.
Well, again, I mean, it's one of those things where everything that we use, there's a lot of cloud solutions now with Open Dental as well, right? The thing is that everything that we use in our daily lives is cloud-based, almost everything, right? Yeah. Think about how you store all your personal items and whatnot, right? Where your passwords are and all those different things. And so it's a long time coming. And again, that's why I love working with Reuben. He's always on top of these. He's mindful of these things, and he understands that for his own business to move on to the next level and to evolve, he has to be an expert in this as well. If your IT company tells you like, oh, hey, you want to stay away from that. You shouldn't embrace that. You might want to think twice, right? You might want to question them that when they say that, because it might be something where, hey, they're just trying to preserve their business and they're not really looking at what the facts are. Well, you just heard it from the man himself, right?
I don't know if it's like this in dental, but like you'll run into IT companies that have been around for so long that like they haven't adapted the way you'd want someone in their field that's passionate to adapt. And they're like, oh, no, you shouldn't go cloud. And at the same time, you look at it, it's like, well, you're going to make more money if they stay local. So of course you would say that, but it's also, it's not all nefarious. It's also a blind spot, right? They have not kept up with the technology that's out there. And honestly, that's what being dental specific kind of sets me free, is I don't care what happens in the legal and accounting realm. I really don't. It's like, what are the next cool products coming in dental? Because believe me, it's enough to fill a week just keeping up with everything that goes on, all the different third-party integrations that go into all the different softwares. It's exhausting. And one thing I want to educate people on Open Dental, there's two versions of the cloud. They have an internal offering that they actually host in their headquarters. That does not allow third-party integrations, right? So if you love your local med or your dental intel, whatever programs you're using, you cannot use it with that software.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
huge.
People get really confused on this. So I have 0 clients using that version of it. The version we use is the one that's off the shelf from Open Dental, and then you put it in the cloud, and then all of your integrations work, and you're happy, right? Because that is what makes Open Dental great, right? That's why we love it. It's like not to hate on the providers that want to do everything, but jack of all trades, master of none, right? It's just an inevitable thing that's going to happen. Now, Open Dental, you're like, wow, what's the best paperless solution? All right, let's try them. Oh, they're not great. Let's try the other 9 that are available to me. So you, as a business owner, you have freedom. The best paperless, the best analytics system, the best phone system. You get to choose all this, and you can switch if you want to. So that's why I love it.
I think that is super important. And guys, if you're thinking about using this cloud solution, I mean, reach out to Reuben. He just talked to you about it. If you never heard it before, talk to the guy who actually just brought it up, who knows what he's talking about. So in the spirit of picking your brain, asking you for advice, helping you, using you as a resource, because again, everyone in the Nifty group already knows this. If you're new to the Nifty group, we get new members all the time. Right? I had someone who they were like, do we have a deal for mouthwash?
You're like,
yes, we do.
5 years of
yes, we do. For the past 5 years, I've been copying the same link, the same actually emojis. Nothing has changed. Yes, for the 1,000th time, we do have a mouth. Okay, but this is not about mouthwash. But anyways, what I'm saying is, for those who are new, right? Welcome to the group. We get new members all the time. And again, if you are wondering, like, who is this guy, go look at all the old videos. He's done a lot of Facebook Lives. It's been a while since he's been here. But when he says, you have a question, reach out to me. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask one of my team members or whatnot. He means it. People message him all the time. I used to message him all the time as a client and asking him to fix something before I learned the easy button. And if you're just now jumping on, you're wondering what that easy button is. We talked about it in the beginning, so we have to watch this again.
Rewind.
So anyways, okay. So if they want to if they want to reach out to you, Reuben, ask you some questions. But if it's a startup, maybe they're with somebody and Joey, who works out of his mom's basement, maybe he's not cutting it for them anymore, right? They want to see what you guys can do. What's the best way? Outside of just messaging you? Of course, he loves.
You can message me on Facebook.
Overload him with private messages. I love it when that happens. But if you don't want to do that to the poor guy, what's a good way?
We have a wonderful website, darkhorsetech.com. And if you go to contact us or darkhorsetech.com/contact, you can fill out a form that we have workflows. If you do it that way, that is the easy button for us. So if you do it that way and you feel fondly about me, please do it that way. Facebook Messenger is great. My email is admin@darkhorsetech.com. We have a Nifty Thrifty deal. It's posted on there. We have discounts on a lot of services we offer. And you get to know someone who speaks your lingo. That's all we do is dental. That's all, If your brother's a chiropractor, I don't want to talk to him. Just
Well, Reuben, thank you so much for jumping, man. And guys, you do need to. We had the URL. It's been streaming there since we've been talking. I was gonna show the website because I was like, dude, this guy, man, is moving up. The website looks sweet. But man, we were talking about some cool stuff. So look, guys, search the website on your own. You'll understand the level of professionalism and how they have a commitment to just providing excellent, not just customer service, excellent customer service. Again, whenever my team reach out to them, they respond very quickly. In the IT world, if you respond really quickly, you're doing something right. If you are working with someone and it takes them a day to respond to you, run, right? Anyways,
response time is king. And I poll the Nifty Thrifty group every year just in case it changes. But guess what? That is the #1 request that practices want from IT. Are you there? Are you respond fast? I have a patient. They're staring at me. My sensor doesn't work. Where are you? Our response time today is 18.4 minutes across every single issue. The IT standard is 48 hours. So we're just different. I don't know how else to say it. You work with us. Your server's down. Your printer doesn't work. Your server down. You'll probably hear from us about 30 seconds. But hey, if printer doesn't work, under 20 minutes. This is.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, again, imagine how long you wait online when you're trying to call your cable company or your cell phone company, right? I mean, about the wrong charges. But anyways, Reuben, thank you so much, man, for jumping on. Always a pleasure. Now, I told the guy, man, you can't like just send anyone else to come on these Facebook. You got to jump on with me. So I'm super happy to see you again. But guys, reach out to Reuben, message him. We'll put in the comments the website. Reach out to them, see what they can do for you. But Reuben, thank you so much for jumping on. Guys, see you next time.
It's fun.